What's happening, everybody? Greg Ehrenberg here from OddsShopper, and we're going to be breaking down the full Friday slate of sports. And we've got a massive NBA slate, 13 games, and we know there's going to be a lot of injuries involved when it's this part of the NBA season, and 13 games. We've also got the second baseball slate of the season, so I'm going to primarily focus on the NBA slate in this video, but I'll also look at some of the best bets that we have for baseball. As you guys come in, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you like the tools that I'm going to be showing on screen and the bets we have here, there's a couple of ways for you to get involved. First off, we have a 7-day free trial. Link for that below. You sign up 7 days totally for free, risk-free to yourself. Also, if you're interested in purchasing the OddsShopper premium package that we have, another good deal that we have for you that's only going to be available for a few more days, the promo code PLAYBALL is going to get you 50% off your first month of an OddsShopper premium package. So promo code PLAYBALL, 50% off. That is only running until April 2nd. It is a promo for the start of the baseball season. And once we're in the second week of the baseball season, that is going to be gone. So only a few more days to sign up using that promo code. But let's look at some of the bets that we have over at OddsShopper right now. And like I said, I'm going to focus primarily on NBA, and then we'll look at some of the best bets for baseball as well. But we're going to start with basketball, and this is where a majority of our plus EV bets come from today, just because of the amount of games we have on the slate, 13 games. So a lot of bets here that are worth looking at. And I didn't count all of them, but we've got dozens of bets that I'm going to end up placing today based on some of the tools we have. But I want to highlight some of the ones that stand out most to me and why I like them as well. Starting with Shaedon Sharpe, good matchup against the Kings, over under 4.5 rebounds. Now, the Blazers are absolutely entirely tanking at this point in the season. So, a couple weeks ago, even, we would have looked at 4.5 rebounds for Shaedon Sharpe and said, why does Shaedon Sharpe have such a high rebound prop? But the current situation with the Blazers, we've got Keon Johnson. He's out now. He broke his finger, and that was somebody who they were actually going to be relying on. Anthony Simons, presumably out for the year. Yusuf Nurkic, presumably out for the year. Jeremy Grant, out for the year. Damian Lillard, out for the year. All the best players on this team. Anybody who's like reasonably an established NBA player has been ruled out for the rest of the season for the Blazers. In addition to that, we've got Trendon Watford listed as questionable for today. Now, Shaedon Sharpe in the Blazers' last game, with how shorthanded they were, he played such an absurd amount of minutes. He ended up playing 45 minutes, and the game was a total blowout. He played garbage time anyway. They lost by 40 points in that game against the Kings. Sharpe played 45 minutes, pulled down 7 rebounds. Look at some of the other books that right now have props listed for Shaedon Sharpe. Not that many. We've got PointsBet has it listed at minus 125, but still, just considering the amount of minutes that Sharpe played, hard not to like the over 4.5 rebounds there. Now, another one that's going to stand out here, DeAndre Ayton, under 9.5 rebounds against the Denver Nuggets. We did see Nikola Jokic sit last night, so I do think it's reasonably likely to think that he ends up playing today, tail end of a back-to-back, but didn't end up playing last night. And if he does sit, I don't know how many minutes we're going to have to see the Phoenix Suns starters play anyway, because this is going to be a likely massively one-sided game if Jokic doesn't end up playing. So if Jokic plays, I think it could be hard for Ayton to pull down the rebounds he needs to hit the over on this. And then if Jokic sits, I don't know if he's going to get the minutes, because we're going to see Denver just probably be like a 15-point underdog or something like that. And as for other books that have lines posted here, look, BetRivers has 9.5. DraftKings has the line at 8.5. FanDuel also has it 9.5, but there's more juice. PointsBet has it 9.5, and there's more juice. So the best bet on the board here, BetRivers under 9.5 rebounds for DeAndre Ayton, minus 129. I think that's a pretty good one to take advantage of. What else do we have? Scroll down a little bit. Here's an interesting one. Steph Curry against the San Antonio Spurs is over under for rebounds is 6.5, minus 140 at FanDuel. DraftKings has it listed at 5.5. BetMGM has it at 5.5. Some other books that have it at 6.5 have it with more juice. This is another spot too for Steph Curry where I get concerned about how many minutes he's going to play. The Warriors, at the time I'm recording this, are 17.5-point favorites against the Spurs. So a couple things there. Are the Warriors potentially going to rest guys? It's a possibility. If Steph Curry rests, we place this bet. It gets voided. But even if he plays, I don't think we're seeing full minutes out of Steph Curry. I don't think we're seeing full minutes out of Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. The Warriors are nearly 20-point favorites at home against the San Antonio Spurs. So I think that Steph Curry taking the under here makes sense. Number one, is just a high rebound prop for Steph Curry at 6.5. But then the other part too is it's unlikely to me that he plays full minutes. So something to take advantage of there. Under 6.5 rebounds for Steph Curry. Let's see. What do we have for Jaden Ivey? 21.5 points is a bigger number than I can remember Jaden Ivey having for a points prop in any single game this season. And it is a good matchup for him against the Rockets, to be sure. But if we look at some of the games for Jaden Ivey as of late, even with this team being shorthanded, it's not like you could reliably expect him to score 21 and a half points or more on average. So, yeah, last couple of games, he scored 24 and 32. The games before that, though, 20 points, 17 points, 11 points, 14 points, 16 points. So prior to these last two games where we saw Ivy put up 24 and 32 points, he actually hadn't had a game with more than 21 and a half points since March 7th against the Washington Wizards. And once again, I understand that the scenario has changed and players get ruled out. So it's not necessarily an apples to apples comparison, but still, Ivy's playing 31 minutes per game for the season, and he's only averaging 15.8 points. Even over the last month, as we've seen the Pistons be shorthanded, 11 games, Ivy's averaging 18.3 points in 33 minutes per game. So pretty high number here at PointsBet. Also, I mean, you see the 21 and a half. Take note of this: 19 and a half at Caesars, 19 and a half at DraftKings, 20 and a half on FanDuel. This 21 and a half just looks like a bad number. I would assume that gets bet down later in the day. So that's another one to take advantage of with Jaden Ivey. What else looks good? The Warriors first quarter money line minus 375. I'd probably stay away from this one, though, just in the event that we could see the Warriors rest players. And that doesn't mean I don't expect the Warriors to win the first quarter. I'm just not willing to weigh minus 375 juice when there's a possibility that the number comes down later in the day if the Warriors end up resting players. But those are some of the best NBA bets on the board. I guess one more we'll look at. Trae Young over 25 and a half points at BetMGM. By the way, this is 25 and a half at BetMGM. BetRivers has this at 29 and a half. Unibet also, this is a weird line with a lot of juice on the under. So plus 170 on the over. But either way, 29 and a half, they have the line set there. 26 and a half at FanDuel, 26 and a half at PointsBet. Precarious situation right now for the Atlanta Hawks. They absolutely need to win games. And as a result of that, we are seeing Trae Young play more minutes. This is a team that they're entrenched in the play-in spot, but I think they would ideally like to only have to win one play-in game to make the playoffs. Ideally, they'd like that game to be at home if possible. So as a result, we are seeing more extended minutes to guys like Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. Last couple of games, we saw Trae Young play 36 and 35 minutes. The game before that, he got ejected, but either way, for the season, Trae Young is playing 34 and a half minutes per game, and it looks like we're going to be getting, 1.5, 2, 3 extra minutes from him down the stretch. Makes a big difference over the course of the season when you're looking at some of these counting stats. So Trae Young over on points, I do think that makes some sense there. So these are some of our best NBA bets, and there's a ton of them listed. There's going to be more as the day goes on as well. So go check that out later on. Let's look at baseball. Anything popping up for the baseball slate early in the day? We've got some total bases props here. So Oscar Colas on the Chicago White Sox. What stands out here? Yeah, the only other book that has it listed is Caesars at plus 102. DraftKings has it at plus 105. So that indicates that there's a slight amount of value. Starling Marte, Jesus Luzardo is going to be pitching for the Miami Marlins. So platoon advantage for Marte. And then also a little bit of line shopping value, right? Plus 150 at DraftKings for Marte to have multiple bases. It's plus 140 at BetMGM, plus 143, plus 143, plus 139. It's just a little bit of line shopping value based on just the fact here that DraftKings has posted a number that's a little bit wider than other books. And I assume that's probably going to be the case as well with Jerkson Profar. Didn't play yesterday, but Profar, yeah, to not reach base with a hit today. So by the way, a walk would not count as a total base. Under 0.5 bases for Profar is plus 150 at DraftKings, plus 145 at BetMGM, plus 133 at Caesars. So some value there as well. Once again, only a handful of baseball games. We're not going to have quite as many things stick out today in the morning as we did yesterday. And also not all the strikeout props are posted for the pitchers, at least at the time that I'm recording. Let's look at prize picks and we'll see if anything stands out in terms of prize picks. So here's a parlay card at Prize Picks and a 6-leg parlay, 3% expected win rate, good for a 35% expected ROI. This includes Wendell Carter Jr. under 27.5 points plus rebounds plus assists. Franz Wagner under 4.5 rebounds. We've got Crawford for Seattle today for over 0.5 bases. Just need him to get one hit in that spot against Cleveland, and he would end up hitting that. So JP Crawford over 0.5 bases. Tommy La Stella over 0.5 bases. Another one, a couple of them here for tomorrow for the Final Four. Bradley for San Diego State under 12.5 points. And then Pack from Miami under 14.5 points for them against UConn. It'd be pretty crazy if Miami makes it all the way to the Final Four as a 5 seed. And they've been underdogs. And if I'm not mistaken, all of their games other than their opening game against Drake. And even that one, they're only like, what, 3 or 4 point favorites or something like that. Let's look at the parlay builder. What site should we do today? Here's BetMGM. Should we do FanDuel? Should we do DraftKings? I'm not going to get a response. I'm doing this by myself. DraftKings, it is. We've spoken. The committee of one has voted, and we've landed on DraftKings as the parlay we're building. So one of the other features that we have here over at OddsShopper, we've got the parlay builder. It works for Prize Picks. It works for No House Advantage, DraftKings, FanDuel, all the books that we have data for in here. You can build parlays on. And based on our projections, we're going to tell you the expected win rate, the expected ROI. So here we've got a DK parlay, 23-1, wins 5% of the time, good for a 22% expected ROI. And a lot of these props are ones that I just kind of hit on. Well, some of them anyway. The Colas under 0.5 bases. Nick Martinez, if you guys saw that one, was on the screen before when we were talking about some of the baseball bets. Him at plus money for over 4.5 strikeouts. Paulo Banchero, under 12.5 points. Lou Dort, under 5.5 rebounds. Another one on Bradley for under 12.5 points for tomorrow's Final Four game. So that's going to do it for us today. We went through a lot of the different data that's available in OddsShopper. If you guys want access to it, sign up. Use the link below for a 7-day free trial, or use the promo code PLAYBALL, and your first month will be 50% off. That offer is available until April 2nd. So a few days left to sign up for that. And if you guys have more questions for myself, go check out Chalkboard. There's a link to sign up for it below. It is a free app. Joining our channel is free. We're up to almost 1,000 people. We've only started it a couple of weeks ago, but it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it, and Wafi has been involved in it as well. It's mostly been the two of us, other guys posting bets as well. We've been sweating bets with you guys, posting additional ones, and it's just been fun. It's been a good hang and a good way to find some additional bets. So if you guys are interested in that, it's totally free to check it out. And what's a better price than free? So that does it for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done yet, like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Good luck, and I hope you have a great weekend.